So in this case now, we've got our ICU patient that's now stepped down with an arterial line, and it's time, the day is to change his dressing. So, and tubing change day. So your dressing for your art lines you can take as a regular dressing. I always like to use the chlorhexidine dressings, but that's not necessary because it's not considered a central line. But that's my personal preference. Again, whatever works, but either way your arterial insertion catheter needs to be just treated as a regular dressing, and then it comes down to the insertion. So we have our tubing that we've primed, labeled, and it's ready to go. And so what we've done too is you want to put a chucks underneath their arm, because when we separate the old tubing and put the new tubing on, there's a moment there where you will probably have a little bit of blood. And what you'll notice too sometimes is you'll need hemostats just to be able to separate it, because it needs to be on fairly snug. So by applying pressure on that radial artery, you loosen it, change it out. If it bleeds a little bit, that's okay. And so now he's got the new one connected. Our old tubing doesn't matter. So if your hands feel like you've got too much going on, you can just let it fall on the floor, put it away, whatever you need to do. We're not keeping the old tubing. He's going to connect the tubing to the transducer cable, and this is going to go into the back, and it snaps in there. And this comes with just some time. Sometimes it doesn't want to fit in right away. Now the trick and the safety for A-lines is really securing your tubing. So this is one where sometimes you'll see the loop around the thumb, and this is fine so long as it's not too tight, so that if they get swelling, that doesn't cut into their skin, but that you don't want it loose enough where it can catch on anything. So this is again the art of doing a dressing change. So what you'll see here is Jeff is going to kind of finagle this around. If it requires tape or tegaderm, it's your call. This is how you prevent anything from happening with your A-lines, and everyone's happy. So you connect it back onto the patient, secure it down. You have the tegaderm with the split gauze underneath to prevent skin breakdown from the hard plastic that's against their arm. And he's got this secured. And then in the case now where everything is hooked up and he was already on the art line, we have him on the monitor. Of course, there's no blood pressure because this is not real. And then in the case to 0, we would make sure that our pressure tubing is all the way pumped up. And there's 2 different types of pressure bags. So we have the one like this that Jeff has shown that's at 300, and then the other one that you pull through. And the way that gets pumped up is as you pump it up, the green, once you see a green bar on the bottom, then you know you've got enough air in there. And if there's a red, it's too much. And then you're going to turn the stopcock off to the patient. Open, take the cap off, and you're going to touch the arterial box on the right on the monitor. That's going to pull up this screen where you hit the 0 button. And you will see on the monitor that it's zeroing. And once it says zeroed, you can close the screen, put the cap back on the patient, turn the stopcock back so it's open, and you can squeeze the butterfly just to make sure you have a nice flush. You'll see it on the monitor. Do you want to do that again so they can see? And then you're good to go. And of course you'd have a better blood pressure reading than that because it'd be real life. And that is how you change out tubing.